Alright guys, name is Tyler aka Nanogenix, and today guys we are taking a look at what are possibly the top 6 worst Dragon Ball Figuarts figures to date. And honestly, one of the things here is all of these figures that we're going to look at. I'm looking over here because I have them all lined up right here, all except one that I don't personally own. Is that a lot of them are older figures, aside from 2 of them, which are premium color editions. Spoilers, I know. But these are what I would say are the top 6 worst figures. Now, let me just go ahead and preface this by saying, while yes, they are the worst in this line, they are by no means the worst in the overall just Dragon Ball figures. There are plenty of figures out there in the Dragon Ball universe that are so much worse than these figures, because again, to me, aside from statues and so forth, as far as flexibility, being able to put these guys in positions and everything else, you don't really get too much better than the Figuarts line as far as Dragon Ball figures go. So this is what is my personal opinion on the top 6 worst figures are. Starting the list off at number 6. And actually, let me go ahead and let me take a step back. It is worth noting that this is a companion video to the top 7 best figures that you can find down below in the description that Rhymestyle made. That dude getting the best list. We agreed upon it, making a worst and a best list. And of course, I don't actually know what's on his best. He doesn't know what I'm saying on my worst. But I can tell you that the best list, I bet, was a little bit easier to make. 4 of these were definites on there. When I talk with my best friend, 4 of these were definites on there that we always talked about being probably the worst figures, 2 of which come up constantly between he and I. But number 6, to start the list off, is the Trunks figure. And the reason why this guy is making the list, the main reason why this guy is absolutely and positively making the list, is because we've seen what they can do with a Trunks mold now via Xeno Trunks. Now, yes, you may not be a fan of his outfit in the Xeno Trunks outfit. You may not be a fan of Xenoverse in general, but looking at the mold and everything else on the Xeno Trunks is incredible. His joints are awesome. His actual like face, his hair, everything. They knocked a Trunks figure out with the Xeno Trunks. And I would love to see them do something like what they did with Vegeta, who is my number 5 on the list. I would love to see them do something with him in kind of the same way they did the Vegetas. They brought a brand new Battle Armor Vegeta out that had a much better mold for the face, for the hair, had the updated joints, the better joints and everything else. And I'd love to see them do that for something like that with Trunks in his Trunks Saga outfit, his normal future Trunks outfit that we're used to seeing him in, as well as just going ahead and making an actual Super Trunks figure. But number 5 is the Battle Armor Vegeta, the OG one. Now, both of these I'm holding and that you were seeing in the pictures are the PC ones, are the premium color ones, because I used to own the OG ones, never opened them. And when these were announced and prices started falling pretty hard, I went ahead and I jumped out. I was like, I'm not going to care enough about these. I'm displaying these in detail so you don't see the boxes anyway. I'm not going to care enough about these to hang on to the OG ones, just keep them in a box in a closet somewhere. So I got out. I sold them. I also owned the number 1 on this list once we get to it as well for a long time, and got rid of it too, well before knowing some other things that we know now. But yeah, number 6 right now for me is Trunks. Number 5 is Vegeta. Now, also too, this has nothing to do with the character itself. I love Vegeta. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you will know Vegeta is one of my top favorite anime characters of all time. Not just Dragon Ball, but anime characters of all time. I think Vegeta is awesome. And yeah, so this has nothing against the characters themselves, especially once we get farther into this. I mean, nothing is characters themselves. It just is generally going based on joints, because the joints on these guys, especially on the OG ones, while I did not own them or open them myself, I did not open the ones I owned myself, I know for a fact the joints on these are not good, the OG ones. And I'm going to go ahead and include the premium color ones too. The joints on the Trunks aren't bad. The joints on this guy are not as good. Not once you've messed around with the new stuff, are nowhere near as good. So moving on to number 4. Number 4 is the OG Super Saiyan Goku. This guy now that we've seen the awakened version, now that we've seen the Kaioken, and even the standard Goku looks so much better than this guy. Also, another reason why this guy makes the list is because accessories. When you open this guy up, you get absolutely nothing with him compared to the figures these days now. So the OG Goku just doesn't live up to what we're used to now, and that's why he makes number 4 on the list. Now, he does have a counterpart. The 2011 Sdcc Goku is amazing. The 2011 Sdcc, it's the same figure, but it's just a much better paint. And while yes, the same thing with accessories and everything else could be said for him, his paint job is so much better than what you're looking at here on this guy. Which this is, I guess, more manga paint, but still, it just, I don't know, just not the best of figures. And I have a few of this guy, but still, he ranks number 4 on my top worst list here. Moving on to number 3, we're in the final 3 here. The number 3 figure, and the main reason this guy gets on here is his color, and is because his joints are absolutely terrible. Because he does actually offer a moderate amount of accessories, and you can position him pretty well, but his joints are so bad. Number 3 is Piccolo. I also, same thing goes for this guy. He has an Sdcc version. Joints are not good in the Sdcc version, but the paint job makes up for that. And I have every figure that you can think of besides 3 basically, and 2 are just variants at this point, and 1 is almost a variant now as well. I have the Sdcc official ones. I have the 2017 10th anniversary Kaioken Goku. I literally have every figure in these right here. If they're not in these right now, it's just because I'm either wanting to unboxings for them, or I've just not rearranged to a point to where they can fit in here, in case you're like looking to see like what is he missing. But I have every figure available right now, as of making this on, I think June 11th, 2017, in case you're watching this farther away down now. But anyways, number 3 is Piccolo, mostly due to joints and color. Accessories are solid, but as far as him and being able to pose him, you can sometimes run into some major issues because of his joints. Again, the main reason why these figures are making this list come down to accessories, come down to joints, come down to paint, come down to just detail on the face. Because another thing too is when you take a look at the Goku, you can definitely see that the detail on his face is nothing compared to what we've seen in the Awakened version, or even the normal Sun Goku figure, or the Super Saiyan Blue Goku as well. And number 2 coming in, which just is almost an accumulation of everything. Joints are so bad. Color is so bad. I guess has a moderate amount of accessories, but still, this figure, I remember when I was so excited to get him. Number 2 is Gohan, is Team Gohan. But I remember being so excited to finally get a hold of this figure when I first started collecting, and I got a hold of him, and I was like, this is bad. This is really, really bad. And I will say that, and I may get some heat for this, I may get some hate for this, but I don't mind saying that this is a really bad figure, because it just is a really bad figure. Especially now having the battle damaged one, which has great joints, has pretty solid paint, has great accessories, has great detail on the face. I do not mind saying that this guy is kind of a joke for a figure. So this guy comes in at number 2. He is difficult to pose because his joints are not very good. This guy also, it's funny, number 4, number 3, and number 2 all have an Sdcc variant. His joints aren't much better on my Sdcc version, but his paint job is so much better. He looks so much more like Gohan, and just on his face, he gets rid of these silly dots under his eyes, and it just overall looks like a so much better figure. But the battle damaged one is in a whole nother league compared to this one right here. So anyways, number 2 is Gohan, leading up to number 1, which is a figure I owned for over a year. Got out of it before they announced the new one that is coming out. I don't even think they're calling it premium color. I think they're treating it as a completely whole new figure, because we can see, we've already had screens of him. But number 1, let's just go ahead and let's get spit it out here, is the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. The new one coming out is just leaps and bounds, and just, oh my gosh, just so much better than this one. But this ranks even so much farther ahead of this guy being my number 1 least favorite figure. They didn't balance him well. You can talk to anyone that had him. He is so hard to stand up. You absolutely have to have a stand to balance him, because his head with his hair is so heavy. This guy is so hard to balance, so hard to get to stand up on his own. You almost absolutely have to have a stand for him. The detail on him is terrible. The coloring on so many of them is so bad. He looks like a bootleg version. Matter of fact, I've seen many I never bought a bootleg version of him, but I've seen many comparisons where they bootleg Figuarts looks better than the official one. And yes, there was no scheming. I trust these people that on this forum, the figure just looked really bad. So coming in at number 1 is Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but that doesn't matter because we're getting a brand new one. It's almost like they're writing that one off completely. I always thought within the forums and everything else that I participate in, and of course my best friend collects these as well as Dino and several other people I'll talk to now, but is that they needed to do an Sdcc version of this Goku, and I kept wondering why they wouldn't, and now we know why, because they have a brand new mold, completely new faces, completely new body, completely new hair, just everything, and I'm praying and hoping that this guy can stand up on his own. But number 1 is the Ssj3 Goku. Yes, I owned him. Yes, I sold him when I realized I was going to display them in these detolfs, and I was like, what's the point of keeping this guy? I don't like him. I only have him for completionist purposes, and I kind of got over that little bit. I was really bad about that with Funko Pops. I was really bad about that with these, and I finally officially got over that and was like, why am I keeping a crap figure that is right now still worth a decent amount of money? And I'm so glad I got out when I did. I sold him for what I paid for him, and now I don't think he's worth hardly even a third of that, because the new one looks so much better. And I think people also kind of got over the completionist in them, and they don't care, because yes, I own the OGs of these. Those have went down significantly as well. Now that we have these figures, now we have the new Vegeta, and I'm sure eventually we'll get a new mold of him now that they've already made a Xeno Trunks hair and head and stuff like that. But guys, that's my top 6 worst Dragon Ball Figuarts figures. If you guys agree with any of these, let me know down below. If you guys disagree with any of these, let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider hitting that like button. Be sure to check out Dino's top 7 best Figuarts figures. And yeah, that was my opinion on them. Again, it is just my opinion. And by no means am I really trashing any of these, except for realistically this figure and the Ssj3 Goku, because I barely even set that guy down, and look, his foot completely turned inside. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyways, guys, that's one of today's videos. If you guys enjoyed this, like I said, consider the like button. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Otherwise, guys, have a great day. Keep on keeping on. Nanogenix here, signing off, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.